Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, welcome back to Fargo. We did take our little trip down south, and it was 33 degrees when the second day. It was 78 the first day, 33 the second day. Warmer than you all had it here, but definitely not Texas warm. But the non-conference is wrapped up. Saw some areas of growth. Certainly things were highlighted that need to continue to be worked on. But that being said, you put yourself in a situation throughout the non-conference to prepare you for the conference play, and I think we did that really well. As one of our captains said, by the time we see Fort Wayne or by the time we see IUPUI or SDSU or USD, we might not have played them, but we've played somebody very similar to them, to their skill set, to their plays, to their defensive pressure. So they understand that we were preparing for now this second season that starts off tomorrow. And a tall task, as they always are, but an opportunity to grow and to get better and to just show some more improvement.
Who sticks out to you from your non-conference schedule as a comparison for South Dakota State?
That might be a little difficult to answer because South Dakota State, I think, right now is searching for a bit of more of an identity. With Mason Miller's injury, you always hate to see good players or any player go down, especially with a knee. Their last few games without her have been very different than their first 6 or 7 with her. So I think they're still trying to figure out exactly who they are and how her role is going to be divided up. I'm assuming it's not all going to one person. That being said, they still have got 2 very good post players. And we've dealt with that in the non-conference. Maddie Giebert can shoot with Taylor range, and we've seen that from different folks. So maybe not one team, but definitely seen those players in a variety of teams.
Coach, when you talk about learning lessons through the non-conference schedule, how frustrating, maybe not frustrating is the right word, but it's just something that you have to deal with, that those learning lessons have had to come from mostly losses. How do you kind of balance that and keep the spirits up a little bit?
I think it's individual film and it's individual conversations as well as team conversations. And I think it's difficult maybe for the outside world, just the strict fans to see that. But here's a good example. Early in non-conference, we are getting hand check calls on drives. Our young players are putting 2 hands on the drive and we're picking up a foul. Okay, so now we've eliminated that, and now it's riding with the body, not beating to a spot. But we've grown from hand checking to body contact to Tyra Pickett being able to pick up an offensive foul because she beats a person there. So you point out those things, whether it's rebounding, whether it's on-ball defense versus the drive, whether it's post defense, not getting stuck directly behind, but forcing outside of the scoring area a little bit more. You see those, you have conversations. And you watch those positive things on film, and the players are like, yeah, I see what I'm doing. I see that I'm getting better. I see how this is going in the right direction. And so it's we turn it into a very positive thing that they continue to buy into and see their own successes and their teammates' successes, even when you guys, and they do as well, want to see the W at the end of the day. I mean, we all do. That's why we play competitive sports, but we are not focused on that as our end result. We're focused on the process a bit more, and they are engaged in seeing that growth, that slow and steady growth.
This young, where do you set your goals for conference season?
They said early on that getting to the Summit League tournament is the goal, and that's not something that we accomplished last year. Not something any one of us is proud of, but when that's the goal and improving every single day, and unlike the non-conference, in conference you play everybody twice. So being able to make adjustments and make improvements from the first go around to the second go around, there's goals put in place in comparison there. Another concept we talk about is a weekend, and the Summit League changed this up a little bit, and we play in the middle of the week and a weekend, but we can still call that a weekend, and Coach Richmond alluded to it. Being in an educational environment, we are used to the routine. These kids thrive when they know what to expect, and the non-conference is not that at all. But the conference play is much more routine. And so there's some goals and there's some areas to focus on a weekend, winning a weekend, splitting a weekend, depending on home and away and things like that. So there's smaller little goals within the conference that we focus on when we talk about.
Taylor's leading the country in three-pointers made, and it's not like it's a secret. I think everybody scouts her. She's still shooting 42%. Are you surprised that among all the Division I players in the country, she's the leader despite, everybody knowing kind of what you bring to the table?
No, because she's a very good shooter. No, because these are non-conference opponents who may or may not have ever seen her before. Her role will not change, but our ability to get her the ball and then how we execute needs to be increased. There needs to be more urgency. There needs to be more detail so that that continues through conference play. Whereas, again, Coach Richmond alluded to, you're just better scouted because we all know each other a little bit better. My expectation is that she stays at the top. Our team needs her to do that. But I do understand that with more detailed scouts and people who have actually played her before, real defenders who have actually played her before, it'll be more challenging for her.
You're forced to throw some young players in there. How would you evaluate maybe some of your freshmen here in the non-conference season as it's wrapped up now?
I'm very pleased with the freshmen. Like any freshman across the country, inconsistency is always a battle. I think that somebody like Sarah Jacobson has seen the consistency and the inconsistency from game to game. She's been very successful versus pressure. Other pressure has caused her to second guess herself or play on her heels a little bit more. So that's kind of the inconsistency, but the growth. Another detail that we talk about is our ability to advance the ball and make advance passes. And she and Tyra both can throw the ball up court with more velocity and more accuracy now than they could our first game. So that's another growth that maybe the general public doesn't see on a daily basis. Somebody like Riley Jacobson, she's, again, some nights she comes out with a double-double. Other nights it's a little bit more challenging for her. Again, consistency. But I'm very pleased with her dedication, her effort, the athleticism that she does display. We know she has it. Autumn Ogden, she's been in and out of practice, but she is healthy and she had full practice last night. So it's great to add another body to our depth again. But somebody like her athleticism, her speed, you look at her frame, she doesn't look like she's a whole lot of anything, but she's got the sharpest elbows and she offensive rebounds every single time and she can almost touch the rim to get a defensive rebound. So seeing her calm down a little bit, still play fast, but not so frenetic. I've seen great growth in her there. Somebody like Riley Nudell, who has been very consistent in the starting lineup, we've challenged her to be more assertive, more aggressive. And I think in this platform, we've talked before about her. She's had the ball in her hands a lot. We didn't recruit the 3,000-point scorer to take 2 shots a game. So continuing to encourage her and point out in film and live games and live practices where she can assert herself within the context of our team. Tyra Spencer hangs her hat on her defense. And I think it's been a challenge for her, but I think she's progressively gotten better. She's one that got hand check calls the first 3 games. The poor girl's fouls out because she got 5 hand check calls. And we haven't seen a hand check call now in, 2 weeks. And a Good Hope, another freshman who's, like they all are, up and down. And some days are very intense and very fast-paced and very physical. And others, that's where she can grow. But I've been very pleased because they all have been thrown in the fire at some point. I've been very pleased with how the freshmen have responded in a very, they don't have a chance to sit back and watch it happen. They all have to participate and be in it. And I think they've done a good job. We'll press them to be more productive and give us more. That's our role as coaches. But I've been very pleased with them.
And what is the role of your upperclassmen to kind of guide some of these freshmen through this Summit League slate? It's tough and going to some of these places, but what is the role of your upperclassmen to some of these freshmen?
The role for specifically Bree and Emily being two seniors who are physically giving us everything that they can. Do we want more consistency from both? Sure. But I mean, we can't add to their role. We can't diversify their skill set anymore. They are working at max capacity, which is great. So their challenge is more of the, as you're alluding to, more of the tricks of the trade, more of the conversation, more of the mental side of playing a specific player, or what this environment is going to be like, or did you get this accomplished before we left town? Things like that. That's where specifically Bree and Emily are and will continue to take the freshmen under their wing and have more conversations so that they are more mentally prepared, because like I said, those two seniors are giving us everything that they can physically, but they can still leave a huge imprint on these young kids with the conversations that they have and they are having.